Hello everyone, welcome again. This is Theodora. If you watched my last video, then I know that you're waiting to watch this one. It's just a journey and a time of me sharing my pregnancy experience with all of you. And in my last video, I told you that I'm going to be sharing some of the things that I did not know or nobody told me about until I am actually experiencing it right now as I am pregnant. It's interesting to think that some of these things, well, I don't know about you, but from where I'm from, my mom, grandmom, aunties, all of these people which you'd expect that I will tell you about these things, nobody told me anything about that. Even prior to marriage, during counseling, we were told a lot of things, we learned a lot of things, but nothing really about preparing you for pregnancy. I guess it's just an amazing experience that most people get to experience just as I am experiencing without prior knowledge or prior tutelage. Well, I'm going to be sharing some of these things. The very first on my list is the peeing aspect. Oh my god, that can be really interesting, annoying, and in fact I don't even know what to use to qualify it. I pee every now and then. That means I have to use the washroom almost every time, whether I'm taking water, whether I'm eating, whatever I'm doing, I have to use the washroom. And the most annoying part is when you're really asleep, sound sleep, and then you have to get up just because you have to go and pee. Oh my god, you wouldn't know if you are not a woman or if you've not been pregnant. You wouldn't know how that feels like. And it means that wherever you go, you have to pee. You have to use people's washroom. If you're in their houses or you're in a church, everywhere, you have to, always identify a washroom around you that you can easily use. And that can feel some way sometimes, especially if you have a lot of outings to do. But it's part of this experience. And of course, now I know. Now let's go to number two. The number two thing I noticed or nobody told me about is this black line on your belly. I mean, the line just appeared gradually and I'm like, wow, looks beautiful. I still don't know what that means, but of course I noticed there's a black line and it's really interesting. I'm definitely not going to show you that, so don't expect to see that. And then number three on my list is the itching aspect. Oh god, my body itches a lot. And you see this brush, it's supposed to be my airbrush, but I use it to itch my back when the time comes. My back itches, my belly itches, sometimes my butt, my legs. I just don't understand it. I don't know the cause of this itch. Let me share this very interesting story with you. One day my husband was like, oh, let's roam the town of Paris, let me just take you out, let's feel the environment. And I was like, oh, interesting. So we got dressed and then we stepped out, and then it got to some point my body started itching my leg, and I was complaining to him and I could see the look on his face. It was like, oh, let's manage. And we're trying to manage, but of course it got worse as we walked down the beautiful streets of Paris. And I'm like, sweetheart, I can no longer take this. We had to locate a Zara shop. We went in there, went into their dressing department, and of course I was wearing a leggings beneath my trap, so I had to pull that leggings off and then put it in my jacket before I felt better. Can you imagine that? What if I had nowhere to change and I was very far from home? So this is what the itching thing can do to you. The number four thing that I noticed about pregnancy and nobody really told me is, the very interesting one, the increased sex drive. I don't know how it is with other women, but I just have to share this with you. I noticed that there's an increase more than the normal, and I'm like, oh, of course these times I make most of the move. I'll be like, sweetheart, even when he's tired, I feel like but I noticed that there's an increased sex drive and no one really tells you that, or no one told me that. But of course I've been enjoying it and it's been very interesting, although sometimes I wonder what the baby thinks at the time. What the baby will be thinking, what is mommy and daddy doing, or what is going on. But of course it's very interesting. I can't believe that I'm sharing that, but it is very interesting. Okay, number 5 and the last one. It's very funny. Of course, you know that when you get pregnant and your tummy becomes big, your clothes will no longer fit. But sometimes there's some clothes you really wish they fit you because you love those dresses, especially when they are new and when it's end of the year or a beginning of a new year, and you really want to look good going out. And interestingly, they no longer fit. This one still amazes me. You know, I was in the Czech Republic in my first, second, third month. I've been in and out of Paris, and then I was visiting my husband again to spend the Christmas. My tummy was normal. Nobody knew I was still pregnant, even though I was in my 4th month. And I came visiting. I slept for like 2 days, and one of the days I woke up and my tummy was already shooting out. I was like, what happened? Why is my tummy big all of a sudden? I remember even saying, sweetheart, now it's going to be obvious that I'm pregnant. And he was telling me, but you are married, so there's no shame about being pregnant. And I'm like, I know, right? But I wasn't expecting, of course. I was hoping maybe onto 6th or 7th month it wouldn't really be obvious, but that wasn't the case. And the idea of sleeping at night, oh my god, whoever founded the opinion or idea that we have to sleep on one side and preferably on the left, I still don't know why, but wow, it's not a good experience. I mean, somebody who can share with you his frustration is my husband, because I get to kick him a lot. It's not comfortable. I try to sleep on my right. It's like your tummy is turned upside down. You can't really lay on your back sometimes. You know, it has to just be that left side, and I still don't get it. Why can't I sleep my normal way? And the way you walk obviously changes. You need to have seen my husband mimicking the way I walk now. I mean, I was like, is that really me? It's so funny the way you walk. Generally, everything about you just changed. I mean, there are lots of good things about it. The experience that you get to feel your little one kicking you. I mean, moving, like the baby is somersaulting in the tummy. The baby is moving at hours where you probably want to rest or you are doing something. It's an amazing experience, and I'm glad to be sharing all of this with you. And thank you for being with me on this journey. In the next episode, I'm going to be sharing weird things about pregnancy. Of course, there are a lot of weird things about pregnancy, and I don't know how other people deal with it, but I'm going to be telling you how I have been able to deal with it, how I'm still dealing with it, and why I consider those things weird.